Hello and welcome to another housing ideas and tips video with Rosa. In this video I'm going to just give you some general tips and ideas on how to set up an alchemy lab. So this is my alchemy lab in this small room that I've put together. I was inspired by a few different people with this. There was a house from one of my guilds where the person had like a cabinet set up like this with shelves, but the way that they did it was they had one of these orcish bar long blocks just down like that near a wall. Just an example here, I'll show you. And on top of that, they had two dark elf bookcases on the side, like that. Something like that. So they had theirs like that, which I thought was pretty cool, because in the little shelves here they had smaller bottles and things for their alchemy lab, which I thought was a great idea. But with how I have mine set up, I needed more shelving and space. What I did was I put two of those orcish bar long braided blocks because they're perfect. As you can see, it's got big shelf there and the smaller shelves. But yeah, I've left the top one as it should be if it's on the ground, but the bottom one would be like that, but I just flipped it upside down. I just did that because it looks more consistent rather than having the big shelves on one side and the little shelves on the other. It just breaks it up a bit like that, and it does look nice. So yeah, these ones, I thought that was a great idea to have the dark elf bookshelves on the side like that, because it wouldn't work with other bookshelves, because as an example here, these bookshelves are just normal shelves, whereas these ones are sectioned, so they work well on the side as well. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that because I thought that was a great idea, but I like the way how I've done it with other shelves. And there are other benches that have shelves like that, so you can play around yourself and make big shelving that you can use. So yeah, for an alchemy lab, you want bottles and plants and other stuff. So these two here, this one I think it's the Mage's Apparatus. Yeah, the big one's the Mage's Apparatus Master. It's a master writ vendor item recipe, but if you don't have enough writs to get the recipe, just buy the item itself from guild stores. This one is the same. It's one of the newer master writ items, so it is bit more expensive than that one on guild stores because it is newer, but they work well in an alchemy lab. So I recommend you get a couple of those if you make a lab bigger than I have here. And the clockwork luxury vendor items work well. The clockwork alchemy flasks, the clockwork titration stand, and the clockwork alchemy rack tubes. I got a couple of these when they were in the luxury vendor, just a couple of each, but I only have one of each of those in here, but two of the alchemy flasks. So yeah, you want a couple of those in your alchemy lab. And this one back here, I've sunk the stand because I only want to show the flask itself back there on the shelf. And yeah, the titration stand, the tubes over here, perfect for an alchemy lab. And got more there, which is the case of vials, which is also a master writ recipe, which you can get from the newer master writ assistant now if you want to get the recipe, or just buy the item itself from guild stores. So yeah, if you can't get the clockwork tubes, get a couple of these because they are vials as well. Perfect for any alchemy lab. And I just added the red guard hourglass because I figured in an alchemy lab you will time boiling stuff or whatever in these things. So yeah, it's perfect in an alchemy lab. And no alchemy lab is complete without some plants. Got those ones there. And some white ones here. And I just put in a little plant display there, which I'll talk about in a second. So these blue flowers here, they're a achievement item from Hughes Bane, I believe. And these white flowers, I think they were achievement item as well. So I just added some of those plants in because it looks like the lab is being used and something's going to be made. So I got two of these Harvester's Herbs, which is an achievement item from, I believe it's Alchemy. So yeah, I've got two of those just because it covers those empty shelves a bit. But they're also perfect to use in an alchemy lab. And not just that, you can use them in a kitchen as well because they're herbs, which you might use in a alchemy potion or something like that. And no alchemy lab is complete without a mortar and pestle. So I put in one of those clockwork mortar and pestle. So I got that from a guild store, but it is also a recipe in game, but it's easier just to buy the item itself. I like this one because compared to the master vendor one, these ones are, the clockwork one is bigger, as you can see, and yeah, works well in an alchemy lab because it's big enough to grind plants and other things in. And here I've just got the known crux bowl from the Craglorn achievement vendor. Just the known crux bowl. I added that in because at the back of this house, in the back secret garden, I have some of those reach vines. On these shelves I have some of those Veloci urns. Just 2 of those because I figured they'd work well in a alchemy lab, as you'd put plants or powder in them. And up here on this top shelf I have some vials. Just one of them's the Brotherhood Poison Vial. It's a achievement vendor item from the Gold Coast in Kvatch. And this other one is a Touch of Plague, which is also an achievement item. I just figured it'd be good to add some bottles and vials in an alchemy lab. And yeah, I've got another one of those Veloci urns there. Here I've got one of those jar of green dye. I got 2 of those. Just one there on the back shelf and one there. Again, I chose those just because it's like a powdery effect, which you might use in a potion or whatever. So I got more poison vials there. Poison satchel. It's an alchemy achievement item from any alchemy vendor. So yeah, you can never have too many vials or bottles in an alchemy lab. And on the bottom shelf here I just put some books. These ones are from the Crown store. I just put them there because I figured you'd want recipe books or something like that in an alchemy lab. And on this side I have the poison cabinet poison makers. Is a master recipe as well, but it's just easier to purchase the item itself from guild stores because it's cheaper. I figured it can be used in an alchemy lab because there could be anything in these bottles, and with like the paper it could be like recipes or just notes that are taken down. Yeah, I'll put that up there because it fits well and works well in an alchemy lab. And here I've got a boiler. Apparatus boiler is just, I think, for just boiling up liquids and that for alchemy. So yeah, I just added that there. And this is a clockwork scale. Clockwork scales precision calibrated. I figured it would be perfect for an alchemy lab because they're scales, and if you want to weigh something or you need a certain amount of something for a potion, it's perfect there. And yeah, in the corner here I just put some plants to break up the space in the room a little, and to show that plants are being grown in here, which might be experimented on with the glowy plants or to use in potions. So yeah, I just put a plant one of the white plants up there. Just a plant tall flowering yucca. It's from a home goods vendor. And I also put in some mushrooms at the bottom, which is also from a home goods vendor. And the glowing flowers are the wedding blossom ones. I got a couple of those when they came around the luxury vendor again. So I've just put one down here, and I wanted a bit more, so I put some on the wall. Just gives a nice feel to the overall space I have here. And for the base that I used the orchid bar side upside down because it has like that box effect for plants, which I used in my Amaya Lake Lodge as well. Good idea to use those. So that's my alchemy lab. You can also use the Alchemy Station. This one I have in my other house, my Lake Lodge, but I just brought it over. Yeah, you can really put that anywhere in your alchemy lab. So yeah, that's just some tips that you might use for an alchemy lab. Just get bottles, apparatuses, vials, and this cabinet is a must-have for any alchemy lab just because it has so many bottles and it looks like other powders or whatever in those drawers. So yeah, just get one of those, some plants, and that's all you need for an alchemy lab. I hope that this helps you set up your own alchemy lab. So if you have any comments or questions, just put those below and I'll answer those when I can. And also if you want to know about anything else, I can look into it. Please also ask in the comments below. Thank you for watching.